Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm Rantoinette. We got a lot of stories to get into today to finish off the week. We've got Donald Trump getting a new nickname. Elon Musk may be gone, but he's probably not forgotten. We've got Carolyn Levitt lying her ass off, but that's what she's paid to do. We've got, let's see, we've got a really sad story about a woman who was attacked for using the bathroom. We've got a really interesting poll that just came out, done by Axios, regarding the abundance movement that the Democrats are trying to push through. And we've got Charlie Kirk looking like a complete idiot, upping the stakes, going from, arguing with 19-year-olds to arguing with Cambridge college graduates. It does not go great for old Charles. But before I get into it, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It helps me out with the algorithmics on the old YouTubes. And I'll dance at your wedding if you like. So please hit that like button and subscribe if you like. All right, Donald Trump. He's having a bad week. He got ruled against recently by the U.S. International Court of Trade, and he's not happy about that. I'll speak about that in a minute. But Trump's got a new nickname, and he's not enjoying it. You have to understand, Donald Trump is the original poor little rich kid. He wanted to get love from his dad and respect from his dad. His dad didn't give it to him. He wanted to get love and respect from celebrities. They didn't want to have anything to do with him. He wanted to get love and respect from Wall Street types by giving him huge tax breaks, but they think he's a big old loser just as much as the rest of us do. And they have nicknamed him Taco. Taco stands for Trump always chickens out. So you've probably seen memes all over the place lately of Trump in a chicken suit or Trump looking like a chicken, or what was my favorite one that came out? It was Pollo Loco. That is pretty much, that's kind of on the nose, really, with Donald Trump. But he's questioned about this in a White House briefing, and I'm kind of at two minds about it, honestly. I look, none of us want him to continue on with this trade war. It's batshit crazy. It's up, it's down. It's we're going to do all of the big tariffs and then we're going to take them off and then we're going to put some back on. And I mean, I think he's probably changed his mind on tariffs 50 fucking times in the last 3 months or 2 months since he started back in early April. So we're almost at June now. So 2 months, 50 times he's changed his mind. Last week he was on about 50% tariffs on the European Union. It was 150 or 145% tariffs on China. Now it's down to 30. He's got Treasury Secretary Besant jumping from left foot to right foot. He doesn't know what's going on either. And it would be very funny if it wasn't people's jobs and their, the way to make a living, if that wasn't in the balance. But Donald Trump, he's got his mind set on this and he will not be dissuaded. Now, the problem with this whole taco thing and what I'm concerned about is that he's just going to double down on it. He's like, oh, you think I'm going to chicken out? I'm never chickening out again. And that would be bad for all of us. So I've got a little clip here where he's doing a little presser at the White House. He's about to introduce Jeanine Pirro, his 24th Fox News employee, switching over to the White House. Jesus Christ. He doesn't have anybody in the White House but sycophants, billionaires, and Fox News ex-employees. And now she's going to be like the U.S. Like a U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C. So anyway, he's doing this little presser here, and I find it pretty fascinating. Here, take a look. Watch how miserable he seems with this question being asked.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean
Yes, he
because
has.
I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said,
Wait, I thought you just said that they were desperate to meet, and now you're saying that they wouldn't meet. Okay, all right, what else? And it was June 9th, it is July 9th, which is it? Is it 2 weeks from now? You know, Donald Trump and his 2 weeks thing. Everything's coming in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, just expect it.
we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? 6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had
No, it wasn't.
dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation, but don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question. Go ahead. To me, that's the nastiest question.
The president.
Come on, that is absolutely fucking hilarious. And by the way, anytime any woman ever asks him a question, it's a nasty question. It's always so nasty. Usually that's reserved for black women reporters, but I mean, I could not tell from, who was asking the question. I know it was, she was a woman. She was, just the fact that he threw out nasty just makes me think that, he's talking to a black woman, but whatever. I digress. But you can obviously tell that it gets under his skin. And, he's talking about the 145% tariffs, and it was some other number, and then it was back up, and I don't know. And then, yeah, man, it sounds exactly like you're chickening out. He's got this kind of lizard brain that he knows when something is about to go tits up, on him to back off, which honestly, I'm kind of glad that he has, because if he's just bullheaded and just keep pushing forward, I mean, we still haven't gotten the ramifications for, at least a month's worth of stuff coming in from China that is just not going to come in. Before the tariffs were announced, a lot of people went out, a lot of the bigger companies went out and bought extra product so they wouldn't have empty shelves. But, when you're talking about lower or middle tier businesses, they don't have the resources to be able to, to hoard product to keep on their shelves. And, it just seems to be that these kind of things are just threats on his part. Scott Bessent, who is the Treasury Secretary, he goes on Fox News, and old Scott, he's a stuttering, blubbering mess, this guy, mostly because he does not know what Donald Trump is doing. His job is to go on TV and defend whatever decision Donald Trump makes, whether he's putting on a tariff and he's making America great again and bringing jobs back, or he's chickening out and getting rid of those tariffs, and in which case it's art of the deal. And Scott Bessent doesn't know which way to go from day to day. So he's on Fox News and he's talking to Brett Baird, and who is supposed to be the Fox News real news guy, which, I beg to differ, but whatever. He's I guess the least insane on Fox News. Anyway, Brett's asking him about the China deal that is it working? Is it here? Is it not? What is it? So let's take a look and see what he's got to say here. Oh, that's the wrong one.
And what about China, specifically China, and that obviously started in a different place? How can you characterize those talks now?
I would say that they are
a bit stalled. I believe that we will be having more talks with them in the next few weeks, and I believe we may at some point have a call between the president and party chair Xi.
So stalled. There was a time when the president thought that it was moving forward pretty significantly.
Again, I think that given the magnitude of the talks, given the complexity, that this is going to require both leaders to weigh in with each other. They have a very good relationship, and I am confident that the Chinese will come to the table when President Trump makes his preferences known.
Yeah, he looks real confident, doesn't he? Real confident. Look, China supplies the world with cheap goods. We are a small part of it. Actually, we're kind of a large part of it. I believe the percentage is like 13% of their exports come to the United States. But that leaves 87% that goes to the rest of the world and, of course, their own home country. So when Donald Trump did, he hit him with the first tariff and then he upped it and then he doubled that and it got up to 145%. And Donald Trump's like, wow, that's a really big number. It's like, yeah, man, you did it. You did that. Like it was some kind of, natural force on Earth. I had no idea the hurricane was going to be that big. Donald Trump pushed China into a spot where anything over 50% tariff is just basically an embargo. That means we're just not going to trade with you anymore. He tried this back in, I believe it was 2017, 2018 in his first term, where he was not wanting to trade soybeans with China, where we had been in the past. They'd been buying soybeans from us. And a lot of American farmers grow a lot of soybeans. We don't eat a lot of soybeans here, but China does. So we had that nice trade agreement with them. And Donald Trump screwed that up and he had to bail out a shitload of farmers with billions of dollars of subsidies to grow soybeans that weren't going to get sold. And in that interim period, when Donald Trump imposed that tariff on them regarding soybeans, China just went, you know what, we'll just get it elsewhere, man. So they made a deal with Brazil, and they started getting their soybeans there, and they haven't bought soybeans from us or, nowhere near as much as they used to buy because now they've got a deal with Brazil. So China, in this last round of tariffs in the last couple of months, China's just like, you know what, man, we'll do without America. We'll sell to whoever the hell else wants to buy our stuff. We don't have to deal with you. And Donald Trump knows that his ass is over a fucking barrel. So when you have somebody like Scott Bessent here, who is trying his best to defend Donald Trump, he, and he does not know which way his mind is going to go. It kind of affirms what the guys on Wall Street were saying about him, that he just chickens out, or he just doesn't know how to make up his own goddamn mind. Is he bringing industry here, which, you would have to do some industrial planning for that kind of thing to make sure that companies would be incentivized to buy here. You can't just let the free hand of trade come in here and fix it. You've actually got to do some incentive making to make that kind of shit happen. You also got to upgrade the grid that we haven't upgraded since the 1930s and 40s under FDR. So we need serious infrastructure, not just like an infrastructure week. By the way, he hasn't spoken about infrastructure since he's been in office this term. So there is no way in hell that industry is going to move here. These are all just threats to bigger countries trying to make a deal, or little countries, for instance, when he met with the South African president last week. And it turns out that whole deal was because Elon Musk was pissed off that they would not let Starlink, his internet server, into South Africa. And Elon Musk wasn't giving a good goddamn about white genocide until he couldn't get his his Starlink into South Africa. So now that thing started up, and he whispered in Donald Trump's ear, and Donald Trump starts spouting off crazy ass shit about white genocide. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't really have any good goddamn policy whatsoever. He doesn't really care. He just wants he wants his cut, or he just wants somebody else to fucking handle it. And which is why he has people like Scott Bessent out there looking like a complete idiot trying to figure this out. Now, Donald Trump did release a interesting little missive on his Truth Social, which is absolutely devoid of truth whatsoever. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. The United States Court of International Trade incredibly ruled against the United States. No, they ruled against you, dog. Of America on desperately needed tariffs. No, we don't need the tariffs, man. This is not an international emergency. Stop lying. But fortunately, the full 11-judge panel on the United States Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit Court is just saying that blah, 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 blah. Order the Manhattan. He hates people from Manhattan, except for, all the buildings that he has in Manhattan. And he just wants love in Manhattan. He wants to be the king of New York. People in New York fucking hated him. So he's got a grudge against Manhattan, and especially since they convicted him of 36 felonies of tax evasion. So he really doesn't like the Manhattan court. Where do these initial 3 judges come from? Well, I'll tell you. You picked one of them. George W. Bush picked the third, and Barack Obama picked the one in the middle. So, everybody, all 3 of them, unanimously voted against you. And you are really pissed off about this. So, where do they come from? How is it possible for them to have potentially done such damage to the United States? No, honey, it's you. They're ruling against you, not the United States of America. What does he say here? Is it pure hatred of Trump? God damn it, man. It is not always about you, man. You are breaking laws left and right. And the judicial branch is there to check your dumb ass. That's what they're there for. Congress has completely abdicated all of its powers in deference to you. So there's only one other branch of government that can actually hold any sway. And by the way, the big, beautiful bill has got a nice little poison pill in there trying to strip away power from the judicial branch, including the Supreme Court. But that's a different story. Anyway, what else does he say in here? Oh, now this, I am all the way down for Donald Trump going on this one. I am absolutely for this. He goes, I was new to Washington. It was suggested to me that I use the Federalist Society. Federalist Society, one of the main writers of Project 2025. Also responsible for all of the picks that Donald Trump put on the Supreme Court last term. All 3 of those came from the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. As a recommended source on judges, I did so openly and freely, but then realized that they were under the thumb of a real sleazebag named Leonard Leo. Trump is absolutely right about old Leonard Leo. He is a fucking sleazebag. A bad person who in his own way probably hates America and obviously has his own separate ambitions. Yeah, of course he does, man. Of course he does. Everybody's got their own ambitions, but Leonard Leo's ambitions are to be a pimp between Supreme Court justices and billionaires. Remember Harlan Crow and Clarence Thomas? That, evil little union? That right there was Leonard Leo. And, of course, Justice, what's his name? The other douchebag, drawing a blank on his name. The dude that went on a whole bunch of fishing trips, that was arranged by Leonard Leo and another billionaire. So Donald Trump is pointing out some really fascinating things about the behind the scenes of the judiciary. And he's not wrong in picking out Leonard Leo to go after. I really wish that he would go after him even further. I love it when the girls are fighting in the Republican Party. It does make me smile. But of course, he does not seem to understand the concept of three equal branches of government that check one another, whether or not something is legal or illegal. And this international trade court said all of this willy-nilly raising tariff, adding tariffs, taking away tariffs, this is a power of Congress. But over the last 40, 50 years, Congress has slowly but surely abrogated all of their tariff policies to the executive branch. And now Donald Trump is just running roughshod over every norm and every principle of trade, and libertarians are pissed off, Republicans are pissed off, Democrats are obviously pissed off at him, and he does not seem to be getting the love that he wants. And ultimately, that is what Donald Trump's biggest problem is. People don't love him, and he just wants to be loved. Anyway, it's good to see that a court held him in check. He's obviously pissed off about his new nickname, and, I'm all for it. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.